podcast is produced by Metaverse Ventures Entertainment. It contains unsolicited and heavily biased opinions which are solely the views of the individuals involved. It does not include investment advice of any kind, and you are responsible for undertaking your own financial, including tax liability research relevant to your own individual circumstances.
So this week we're going to talk about creating an OG UDU node. Now, as you may have caught when I chatted with Loyal Doyle just recently, yes, the terminology for node has evolved considerably since we first came up with it, introduced it to the community, and this, that, and the other thing. We still, however, maintain the, I don't know, what do you want to call it, the OG requirements or the original requirements, where in order for it to be classified as a UDU node, and just to make clear again, the UDU is a collection of node projects all working together under the same umbrella. So it's not like some of the other teams that are out there where it's the one team essentially starting multiple neighborhood development projects all under the same kind of banner almost. As we know with like Uplander has just said, his school node is very much its own thing. Uplander is free to manage that however he sees fit. Same with Cheese and her node, Podex his node, Screw, Miss Cedar, myself. We all have our own individual projects. So it is very much, what did I say in the Shack interview? The UDU is almost like a mothership or something like that. So yes, if you are somebody who's within the UDU and like starting up one of your own official UDU nodes is something you'd be interested in, that's absolutely a possibility. It's also, we've also seen with Mexican Town, and previously there was several collaborations where existing neighborhood nodes could kind of come in and fall under the UDU umbrella just by getting involved. And that's all plays out just through conversations basically. But if you're in the team and you want to start a UDU node from scratch, and this is something we've started having conversations with one of our most important key OG members. We're kind of discussing how to go about this in future. Is we need to kind of rally the team. We see who's interested in getting involved first and foremost. We get an idea of what kind of budget we're looking at, what kind of city you're looking to get involved in, what size. There's a whole bunch of discussions. There's a lot of background planning involved to get ready for these things. And then if we're going to go for a spot, like the last time we pushed for a full node was, what was that? Is it Century Heights in LA?
Yeah.
That was an interesting case where Screw had come to us. Well, didn't we tried to do something in Chicago? Wasn't there was a small, what's that small neighborhood within the loop? Print something. There's something in there anyway, but it was a very small neighborhood. But oh yeah, Dak's got his hand up. What's going on, Dak?
Oh no,
Printers
I have a
Row,
question,
yes.
but it could wait.
Printers Row, yes, thank you, Jazz, or whoever just said that. Yeah, Printers Row was the one that we were initially going to go for, but when we saw that there was only a very few properties there, we knew that was going to be highly sought after, so we pulled back from that. And then LA, we got the announcement about LA, so Screw said, okay, now's the time. We got our budget together and we all got together on a Zoom, and it was a case of, okay, everything's turned green, go. But then we saw the prices and we were like, holy crap, in the target neighborhood. So that's and that threw us back to the drawing board basically. But then Screw pretty much come up on the fly with the other neighborhood, Century Heights, and then of course Rancho Park, Finsky said it was, yes, which has since been turned into somebody has that as a node.
It's Abdullah's node, and he has Sphinx Rancho Park racetrack on it.
There you go. Yes, certainly
Nice.
The sticker shock price there is no problem for our friend Abdullah. So yeah, we had bombed Century Heights, minted up as much as we could, and then quietly started gobbling up the floor. And because to be classified as a UDU node under our regulations, we need to control ideally 61% of the properties there. If we don't get 61%, it can still be classified as a node. It's just we don't classify it as a full neighborhood node. It becomes essentially a mini node, like we saw with what happened in Oakland with the 2 Diamond neighborhoods. They were at one point in time full neighborhood development nodes, but there was a whole bunch of drama associated with that, and they have dropped to just mini node status. And NFT Architect has asked why 61% and not 51%. If you only control 51% of the neighborhood, there will be people within the team that flip their properties. There will be people within the team who decide they no longer want to be in the team. 61% just gives us a bit of a buffer. So yeah, if you are at the 51%, I believe, I'm not sure off the top of my head what node project is only in the above the 50. There's one of them anyway. We still classified that as a neighborhood node because we know that the 51% that do hold those properties there are solid UDU members. Like within the UDU team, we have a solid group of core, heavily engaged members. And then we also have a group of kind of semi-engaged members. And then we have a big group of, what do we call those, Cheese? The, I'm blank. What's the word? Not OG members. Or is it OG members?
Oh, old guard.
Old guard, yes, thank you. So we have old guard members. They're either members who they're still in the UDU, but they aren't very engaged in the game, or they've already built out all their node properties and that sort of thing. So yeah, so 61% just gives us a bit of bufferage. Ideally, like Cheese's Bronx node, what are you up to? Nearly 88 or something like that, near 90%.
Yeah, I think I'm like just at 90%.
Yeah. Where at one point in time, Midtown Terrace was very high like that, but as part of the push to get people involved, I passed off a swag of Midtown Terrace properties, starting off when Midtown Terrace first started off as its own project. I was selling those for about 25,000 UPEX, and that slowly bumped up as the supply dropped, and the max I went to was 150,000. But then we've seen a whole bunch of those people leave the team, or for whatever reason, they just flip them out from under you. So it's kind of one of those things. With most other node projects that are out there now, as I said, the node terminology has evolved. Anybody can start a node and have 3 properties and call it a node. Most nodes now are more community based, where they don't really care about the numbers. It's just about the engagement, which is fair enough. You know, it's just 2 different ways to skin a cat, as we say. So yes, if you are in the UDU team and you're looking to start your own UDU node, there is an opportunity there. It just comes down to engagement and asking questions. And Dak said, I do have a question after conversations, presentations, one UDU node. Go for it, Dak. What do you got for us?
So it might sound like a silly question, but honestly, I am kind of curious. You, a long time ago, mapped out the concept of a node, and you have that famous map of the little circles with all of the nodes and so forth. Yep. And you said eventually it's going to evolve and grow as new areas are released. Well, in the past 3 weeks, they've released Latin America and Europe. So what's the story? Can you give us a little insight?
Yes, I think you're referring to probably this one or one of the other ones. So yes, that's not a node, mate. This is a node. So this is the current UDU node map as we have it today. And as you can see, yes, the umbrella is UDU. Our first branch is North America, USA. And yes, we do have now Europe, and we do have South America. Absolutely.
The thing is,
Yes.
those areas that they opened were not the full areas. They're opening them up little by little. To create a node in there, you have to be Abdullah. Basically, you need to have a lot of money and a lot of people at your disposal, because it's like what is it? Rio went fast. How fast was Rio minted out? Like, that was crazy. To plan a node in there would have been extreme noding.
Community nodes is possible. UDU nodes is not possible. And the biggest thing that's related to that is we do not pursue a node unless there is a committed node
manager.
manager. That's beyond budget, beyond anything else. If there's not somebody willing to run that project, we don't try it, because we've already got enough projects established that we're very cognizant of the fact of feature creep. If we constantly go chasing, when we've done this in the past, okay, there's a new city, let's push for a node, but Midtown Terrace is only 60-something% developed. There's still so much work to be done on projects that we started over a year ago. So,
what I think Dak is getting at. I think he is going to be signing up to the UDU, and then B, he's going to be a community manager, a node manager, and he's going to run a node in either Rio or Porto.
He's pumping the brakes, Cheese.
As it expands.
No, but here I got a different proposition for you, and he's not even here today to defend himself. So, I'm volunteering someone who can't even defend himself. But the reason I was asking about that is, one, I wanted to know what the plans were for the bigger map and the bigger expansion. And then two, Max Demon, who you guys had on the show a couple of shows back, he was able to secure a good amount of ownership for his racetrack, right? And so do they become mini nodes? Could someone come in if they've built a racetrack somewhere and they want to be part of a bigger organization? Could they apply to be part of UDU if they wanted to? I don't know if they would, but I'm just saying racetracks have been able to build, because we have an ownership requirement with URL. They go out and they really do put together a coalition to buy out their racetrack.
We, of course, we had Max Demon on the show, thanks to you, Dak, and I appreciate that connection there. He's a really awesome, ambitious young guy, doing great things. But even he admitted that he doesn't own all of the properties, like not even all of it, most of the properties there, that he wants to have a greater part of the community there. And I think Ben and I did ask him in the show if he was interested in getting a good part of the community there, and he said he just wanted to concentrate on his racing. I think it would be amazing if somebody who did have a racetrack that did have the amount of properties needed to, because remember, we do have our goal of that 61%. If they wanted to do that, then I could definitely see Max in the UDU. He once he passes vetting and whatnot. Remember, we all have our structure and our levels. But yeah, I think it is apples and oranges to the node and the racing, but they can definitely come together to make a delicious smoothie if the numbers are there.
Yeah. And that opportunity is available. Like we've seen that recently with Mexican Town. They kind of come on board as an associative node project under the UDU umbrella. So it is possible, but keep in mind we're very, very wary of pursuing that too much, because we've been there and done that. Like at one point in time, TM had all of his node projects within the UDU umbrella. Who else? Mars Utah and Left House and a whole bunch of people. That many of the node projects that you are aware of, especially some of the OG ones, Little Italy, all of that crew, at one point in time they were in with us under the UDU, but for reasons that fall on our side and their side, it just didn't pan out for whatever, and that kind of just creates a whole bunch of unnecessary drama. So it's something that we're definitely open to, but they're at its core, any project that is going to come on, it must have independent, structured, and stable management. There has to be leadership there, because we get, believe it or not, we get offered these sort of things all the time. It becomes a case of, hi Ben 68, I've started this node project. I don't really know what to do with it. Here you go. Yeah, that's not how it's going to work. I've got so much going on. I can't be running other people's things that they've started. That's you know, if you want advice or that sort of thing, absolutely. Cheese and I are fully open to that, you know, and we've been through so much history and drama. Many like Finsky, there's a whole bunch of people that you could reach out to and get advice. But as far as taking on new projects, yeah, we're walking around with our hands overflowing. We're spinning plates left, right, and center. We're actually trying to put down some plates, and
Yeah, it's a lot of work. You have to get FSAs in there. You have to have at least a couple $1,000
Yeah.
to, you know, make it happen. And then you need to kind of rally people to it. I know I was a wreck after the first 3 months of Bronxdale, and like it didn't start coming together until 3 months after. And if it was just left for, you know, the UDU in total to take care of, like people have their own stuff, things get forgotten very easily.
yeah.
So there definitely needs to be a manager.
As we keep saying over and over again, in any platform that Cheese and I have available to us, we keep saying these things are very easy to start. It takes a lot of, I won't say most, many people have the financial side covered. It's the time aspect that you cannot even begin to imagine how much time it takes to run these things. Deal with the drama, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, and Podex has said in chat, even the San Francisco nodes will take years to complete. Yeah, absolutely. From day one, we've preached a long-term mindset, and that's no joke. You know, we're not talking a couple of months here or a year there. We're talking multiple years. And for big projects like Midtown Terrace and that, maybe we don't even see how that's going to be fully fleshed out for 5 years. Who knows? So yeah, it's not something that we take lightly, and neither should anybody else, really. I mean, I guess that's a good point to wrap that part up on. This Metainment production is brought to you today by the Samurai Aquatics and Decor MetaVenture. Scan that QR code or click that link in the description and dive yourself headfirst into the Samurai Aquatics Discord server to pleasure your peepers on our current and future range of outdoor decor.